see. Okay, Lauren, you're here. We're going to, or would you like to present your PowerPoint presentation today, or do you want to do a narration and send it to me as a video?
I'd like to present right now. I think that would just be easier.
Okay. I was going to say something else and I completely forgot what it was. Yeah, let's see. Let's wait for just a minute, see if more people show up, and then we'll have you present in just like 2 minutes, okay? And I will show it on my screen, so you can just tell me when to switch the slides.
Okay, and is that I will be presenting in 2 minutes from now, or I should keep it under 2 minutes?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're under 8 minutes, that's great. If it needs to be up to 10, that's fine too. If you decide to go for a half an hour, that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, Taylor, would you like to just talk about your project?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, about 3 minutes or so, I think is all we need. All right, that'd be great. Is there anybody else that has, or is there anybody that has the critiques that they want to do? Because we're going to talk about that too. Anybody want to do their critique? Okay, Lauren and Emma both have their hands up. Emma, do you want to just say what you needed to? I don't know how to do the hand thingy.
Yeah, it's like, anyway, yeah, I'd like to do a critique. Do you want me to send you a link?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I think that'd be great. Unless it's your own work, then you can just show it in front of the camera.
Oh, it is my own work, but I don't want to show it in front of the camera because my room's a mess, so.
Okay. Do you want to find it in discussions or some? Actually, no, I can find it in discussions. Hold on a sec. If it's your own work, I can find that easier. All right. Let's see. Which project is it?
Structure with skin.
Okay. All right, I'm quiet because I'm furiously working on finding it. All right, with the yarn and the wire?
Yep.
Okay, I've got that pulled up, so we're ready for that. Anybody else?
Well, I'm not ready.
I know. I've got it pulled up, so we're ready when we get to it. Okay, does anybody else have critique that they want to do live today? Alexis?
Sorry, yes, I do need to do someone else's work, so that would be great if I could do that today.
Okay. If you want to, it will only take me a couple minutes. I wanted to find Emma's right now because I wanted to figure out if it would take me like a half an hour to look for it. But yeah, if you want to let me know where it is, then I can pull up the image.
Well, I have it pulled up on my screen if you just want me to share mine.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, I can just share my screen.
Oh, okay. All right, let's do that then.
You want me to do it right now?
No.
Okay.
We'll have Lauren do her thing. We'll have Taylor do his thing, and then if it's okay, Emma, will you be ready after Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay, and then after Emma, then we'll have Alexis. We'll have you do yours. Okay, Lauren, you had your hand up too, and I completely ignored it.
No, it's okay. I just would like to do a Tools of Artistic critique thing as well. If that's okay. I also have a Tools of Artistic critique to do today.
Oh, okay. Do you want to do that? Just segue into that after you're done with your presentation?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Okay, the first code word for today is apple pie. Is Kayla here?
Here.
All right. Is Sarah here? Is Camilla here?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Is Nicole here? All right. Is Bailey here?
Here.
All right. Madeline, I hope you're still here.
I'm here.
Okay. Emma, you're here. Is Grace here? Okay, is Summer here?
Here.
All right. Is Kelly here? Okay. Kelly, looks like you are here. Looks like there's a problem with the microphone. Is Catherine here? Taylor, I hope you're still here. JC, are you here?
Here.
All right. Alexis?
Here.
Excellent. Brianna?
Here.
Brooke? Yep.
I'm here.
Lauren? Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. David? Yep.
Sorry, I'm here. I couldn't unmute my mic.
How about Hiram?
Good morning.
Good morning. Rachel, are you here? Yep. Okay. Is Sarah with us? How about Nicole? Grace? Or Catherine? All right. Okay. Lauren, if you are ready, I'm going to pull up your computer, unless you want to do your screen share with your own PowerPoint. Can you do that? Or do you want, because I have your thing pulled up already.
I think I can screen share for it, but yeah, if you have it pulled up, I'll just tell you when to change the slides.
Okay. Let's see. All right, I am doing the share now. There we go. All right, take it away.
All right, so, oh weird, the text changed. It's not supposed to be hidden by that splash, but this is a presentation about Angelika Arandt and the kind of texture and color that she likes to put in her sculpture. Next slide, please. Okay, a little bit about the artist. She's a German artist, and a lot of her work is inspired by nature, specifically the sort of like miniature landscapes that you can see if you look closely at like a patch of moss or lichen or a colony of coral. There's also a pretty consistent theme of growth. And she actually began in textile design. Like if I remember right, she has like multiple degrees in textile design of all the different areas of like embroidery, tapestry making, knitting, everything basically. But eventually she found that like the flat surface of fabric was just kind of becoming too restrictive for the kind of art that she wanted to make, so she eventually got sort of broke into the sculpture world through sculptures like you can see on the right-hand side through polyurethane foam. That was how she broke in, but she still makes 2D artworks like you can see on the left. Next slide, please. Okay, this is a super interesting work of hers. You can see she does this thing, sort of like what happens in like pointillism, where she blends colors with like through the eye. She does this thing. This technique I like to call like wrap and slice, I guess. Here she does one bright color in plasticine and then like covers it with another, sticks it on, and then slices it off to like round off the shape sort of, and it exposes the color inside, and it makes a super interesting optical effect. And I think it's very interesting for this one in particular when you consider the title, Mother with Child. It's definitely a non-objective depiction of that. And I think the main connection I see in that is maybe like sort of those like lumps at the top look almost sort of embryonic, like an embryo just starting to form limbs or something like that. And I think that's reinforced by that sort of wrap and slice cellular look it gives. So yeah, this is a super interesting one to me. Next slide, please. Okay, this one called Paradise 5. I think it's another good example of texture. There's some more optical and color mixing too, but this is a lot more like pointillism because, you know, they're individual points of color that just sort of transition from one to another. I think this one is more reminiscent of like lichen on a stone or something, especially if you look closely. Like a lot of the dots have like divots, like little lichen cups. Yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, this one I really like. It's called Two Towers. This was made with ceramics, but instead of like glazing the color over the top like she did with the last one, she actually mixed the pigment from the glaze into the ceramic itself, and so it gives it these really pale colors. And this one has a lot of texture variety compared to the other ones we've looked at. And I think both of those two things, the color and the sort of diversity of textures, contributes to the message of it. At one point, this was displayed like in this exhibit of like ocean scenery, and so there were a lot of like, you know, paintings of the ocean, but some sculptures like hers where it was, you know, you take the water away and what do you have? I think this one like is because of that. I think this is specifically supposed to evoke the idea of a coral colony. There's, you know, a huge diversity of different, you know, kinds of animals here, but with that connection, it's easy to see, like, you know, because they're all pale and they look bleached out, it's probably also a commentary on how our corals are being bleached because the water is becoming too acidic for them to survive. Next slide. This one I also think has environmental themes. The title is Come Back as a Flower, and I think it's got the theme of like just how nature reclaims everything we do basically. Because like if you look at the bottom, it looks like the, you know, the start of like the base of some mug or, you know, some sort of pottery thing, but as you go up, it like starts bubbling and sprouting with all this other stuff going on. And so I imagine like it's like a representation of like if you like threw something into the ocean, it would like the metal would corrode and it would give way to new life. And I think because this one is achromatic, it just doesn't have any color. It gives a real strong focus on the texture of the piece itself and how it changes throughout. Next slide, please. This one, Birdhouse, is a more recent example. This is glazed ceramic as well. You don't see a lot of, it's not often you see a lot of architectural elements in her work, so I wonder if this is like a direction she's more moving toward. Plus, like, the individual scale of this one is not as close up. Like, other ones look like feel more like close-ups at a colony or a patch of moss or lichen, but this is like, looks like how nature reclaims an entire house. And I think the title of this is interesting, because it looks less like a birdhouse and more like a human house. So I wonder if maybe it's a birdhouse because all the people are gone and now it's a perfect place for the birds to be. Next slide. Okay, this is an interesting one. I keep looking at it and I'm really trying, I really don't see how it's a molecule as she's titled, but it's still super fascinating. Here she's working with glass and wire. And she has said that she is always on the lookout for new mediums. She loves to experiment. She loves to just be learning how to work different mediums, and I think this is a good example of it. It looks like she just sort of made a wire squiggly and then blew the glass into it so it would bubble out in all these ways, and it looks very interesting. My only guess for how this is a molecule is that maybe the wire is just like evoking the sense of like how electrons move around a molecule. But yeah, other than that, I really like this piece a lot. And I think that's it. I think the last slide is just sources. And so, yeah.
All right, excellent. Very good. Okay, I'm going to take it off screen share. Do you, that was very nicely done. Now, do you want to do your application of artistic critique, or the tools of artistic critique? Do you have something with you that you can do, share your screen, or do you want me to find it and put that up?
I have it with me. I'll just turn my camera on.
Okay, great. But that was very nicely done. Thank you.
Okay. Oh boy, the lighting looks pretty bad. Maybe if I put up against, no. I have my dragonfly here. It's the wire one, so it's going to be especially hard to see, I guess. I don't know how to make the lighting in here better, or to make the camera adjust or anything, but anyways, so this is a wire sculpture of a dragonfly. It does use two different colors of wire, the heavier black for the head and body, and a lighter silvery wire for the wings and for the legs. And it can stand on its own, so it's balanced. A lot of the wire appears to define lines that actually exist and anatomically on dragonflies, so I think the artist paid a lot of attention to how to define dragonfly's anatomy, such as like with the tail here where coils define the different segments. I think maybe that was done a bit less effective in the head here, where it's more of just a couple scribbles that are generally supposed to define the head and eyes, but it's not as clear as other places. Oh wait, maybe a clearer. This is what the wing patterns look like. There's a lot of stylistic scrolling going on, but I think evokes a sort of like fantasy sort of, like they almost look like they could be fairy wings in some sort of fantasy art. I think this is a successful piece. I'm not remembering what else I need to discuss for the tools of artistic critique. What other questions did I answer?
The first is description. You covered that. Second is
Right.
analysis, where you're kind of figuring out what the artist did to get the techniques. You covered that. Interpretation. Now we start looking at why do you think the artist made the choices that they did? And then the last one is um, judgment. Do you think it was successful? So why do you think the artist made the choices that they did stylistically? You said that it was followed anatomy pretty well in a lot of areas. The wings became kind of scrolly designs, and then the head was kind of just almost a random wrapping. Why do you think the artist made those kinds of stylistic choices in the different elements?
Probably, well, for the head, it was probably just because it was the start, or maybe or maybe because like the head has a lot of small details and it's hard to, and maybe it was difficult to try to like convey them all concisely. I think maybe like the head wasn't as successful as the rest, but even like the body follows the anatomy, but so do the wings as well. Like they are pretty scrolly and spirally with it, but there's certain like points like here and here, like dragonflies usually have a darker spot. I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, in general, I think the idea was to convey, like the artist's intent was to convey the beauty of dragonflies and sort of the whimsy that might be associated with them in fairy tales or folklore. And yeah, did that cover it? Am I still missing something?
Now we just need to do the judgment at the end.
All right, judgment. I think it was successful. There are definitely some areas that could use more work, but overall, I think it's a visually interesting take on a dragonfly. I think it is a success.
You think it was successful? Excellent. All right, that covers it. Now, let's see. Is Sarah here?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, is Nicole here?
I'm here.
All right. Is Grace here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. And is Catherine here? Right. Our second code word comes from the Lake Wobegon series, and it is slow decay snacking cakes. All right. Now, Taylor, would you like to just talk about your project a little bit?
Yeah. Can everybody hear me okay? I don't know if my microphone's totally all right.
Well, from my perspective, it sounds good.
Cool.
Sounds great, man.
So I did the service learning project that involved me working with my aunt, who's actually opening up a gallery in Daybreak. So she's focusing on creating a platform for smaller local artists, which I think is a really cool service to provide. I was thinking about the video that we watched at the beginning of the semester and how sometimes service can be unnecessary. And I think that this is a service that wasn't, I think it's filling a need that is genuine. And I guess to kind of jump the gun, it was to skip to the end. Opening day was a lot of fun because I got to meet a lot of the artists that were featured in the gallery. And some of them were very deserving. I met some who were in their 80s and just beginning to paint for the first time ever, but had incredible pieces of like nature, or photographers who have never picked up a camera till COVID started. And it's just really cool to be able to be a part of something that gave them a platform. So I guess to skip back to the beginning, my my contribution to the whole project was just graphic design, helping make the business look a little bit more official. So they had a very blurry, not official logo that they were using, and they wanted that recreated as a vector. So that was part of the process for me. And I've just switched my major from illustration to graphic design. So a struggle there was learning how to use Illustrator. But I'm grateful for the experience because now I know it, which is super helpful. Another part I did was creating an event flyer, something that they could use promotionally on social media just to get the word out there about the opening day or any other future events that they might have. Another piece I did was a business card, just so that they could have those available inside the location of the gallery. And it was a lot of fun. I think some of the struggles that unexpected things that I had with along the way was a lack of communication on my part. I wasn't expecting that to be an issue, but I don't work with a lot of other people, especially recently. And so I was kind of just doing my own thing, uploading files to like a Google Drive that we were sharing. And I forgot to ever mention like, oh, hey, there's new stuff for you to review. So we discussed that through the process, and I made a lot of changes towards the beginning of the process so that it wasn't an issue continuing forward. But it was a lot of fun. Learning Illustrator was hard. Learning how to communicate properly was difficult for me. I'm so recluse, but in the end, it was a great project. I had so much fun doing it, and I even had the chance to sell a gallery piece in it, and that was the first for me. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, you had mentioned something that I thought was really interesting that I'd like you to talk about for just a sec. You had said that you were really happy with what you had designed, but what they picked was not exactly what you were hoping for. Could you explain that?
Well, I think if I had my way with things, I would have designed the logo a lot different. I think I also the business cards, they switched things around after I sent in. I think that there was a little bit of lack of communication from their end of things too. Sometimes they wouldn't give feedback when they wanted it, so that they would just take what I gave them and then switch it. So they ended up recropping some stuff and adding some more things. So the composition of like the business card got really altered. Things were kind of pushed all the way to the edge of the card, and there was a big QR code that took up half of a paper. It just kind of looked a little strange by the end. Yeah, I mean, if I'm fine with it. They were happy. They were really happy in the end, and I'm happy for them. But I think it could have looked more aesthetically pleasing if they had, asked me to do those things in a way that would have design-wise made sense.
Well, and I think that observation on your part kind of touches on something. When we do service projects like this for somebody, ultimately they're the ones that we're trying to help, and so they get the last say, even if we feel that it's wrong. If they're picking the wrong thing, or we know we could have done it better, and that's kind of a difficult thing, because all of you guys are professionals. All of you guys want it just so, and if they don't want it just so, and they want it a little bit less, that I imagine that can be a little bit difficult. So what did you tell yourself, Taylor, that made it so that it was okay?
Well, it helped that it was my aunt, because I have to love her no matter what. But yeah, there's just, like you're saying, like there's a certain point where you just have to accept that, like, this is what they like, so I'm gonna have to do it, or I just have to be okay with it. And as a client relationship, you just have to let things go, I suppose. So do your best and forget the rest.
All right, great. No, but those are good. I think that sounds like it was a really good project to have done. Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, shifting gears a little bit to another critique. Emma, are you ready? I'm going to do a screen share and show the image.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, excellent. Okay, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button. I'm doing screen share now. Let's see. All right, can everybody see this image?
Yes.
I can see it.
All right, excellent. Okay, take it away, Emma.
Yeah, so what we appear to have here would be some wire cubes that have been strung together with yarn. And the yarn shifts in color. The boxes seem to be relying on like the tension from the yarn to stay in place. On some of the corners, you can see there are little bows that have been tied, which is an interesting choice. I think that like with the materials used for this piece, it's interesting that you have basically what are two lines, the wire for the boxes and then the string of the yarn. And their properties are like totally opposite from one another. One of them is completely unable to hold a form by itself. And the other one can hold a structure, which is interesting. The use of colors seem to suggest that it isn't meant to be viewed as like a dark piece.
I'm sorry, what was that? The last I heard was it's not meant to be viewed as a dark piece. I'm sorry, Emma, can you hear me? All right, looks like there's some technical difficulties. So I'm going to stop the screen share. Who is the next person that... Jeez. Okay, it looks like Emma's just lost her Wi-Fi. Um, so who is the next person that needed to do a critique?
That was me.
All righty. Okay. As soon as Emma gets back on, after you're done, we will switch back to her to finish. But do you have an image that you want to do in your screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and check that out. That'd be awesome.
There you go. Can you see that?
Sure.
Okay. So I decided to do Grace Emery's piece because I was really drawn to how different and dynamic it was. So it looks like a wire rib cage with this little guy hanging off of it. And it's made out of wire and different thicknesses and coils of wire, which I thought was really interesting. The the mood when I first looked at it it's really kind of unsettling with the subject matter and this little guy doing monkey bars on a rib cage, which is not something you're supposed to climb on. And the the jaggedness of the wire, I think, just adds to that unsettling nature too. It's not a smooth piece, but it's really dynamic in the tilt and everything. I feel like the artist probably has some interest in anatomy, or at the very least, they were really paying attention to anatomy in this piece with how they define the rib cage and the hip bones and everything. And the rib cage, the bigger rib cage, looks really like they really paid attention to how that's put together. This piece was really, like I said, different from the other ones too, because I feel like a lot of us chose to do animals or something that you can easily recognize. And this one you can easily recognize, but a little guy on a rib cage is kind of not in this world. It was very interesting. And I think it's very effective. I think they definitely, I've been saying dynamic a lot, but it's a really dynamic piece, and you can really feel the swing of this guy going along the ribs and the tilt in the rib cage and everything. It just feels very in motion, and I really liked it. So, yeah, what did I miss?
How do you think it speaks to the artist's worldview? And then the last thing is just judgment.
Well, like I said, I feel like the artist probably has some interest in anatomy at the very least. I'm not sure why. I don't know.
Do you think they have a sense of humor, or do you think they're super serious all the time?
Well, I think they've got a little bit of a sense of humor with the motion that they've put into this person. Maybe they like to move around and do monkey bars and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Because like I said, this piece is also kind of unsettling to me with its subject matter and how it was put together.
Yeah, it's an interesting juxtaposition. No, very good. So I'm guessing that you liked it.
Yes, very much.
Right. Excellent. Very good. All right. Thank you, Alexis. That's wonderful.
Yep.
So does anybody else have something, want to do a critique or anything? Because what we're going to be doing, I want to, let's see, I'll give you the last code word. It's fabulous. Our final, and I'm going to be sending out an email later today when I send out this recording to remind everybody. I have reconfirmed. It's on Tuesday, May 4th. That's Star Wars Day, 7 a.m. to 8:50 a.m. And we will be doing a Teams meeting just like this. If you do not show up, the department has told me to really severely dock people's grades. But we're not doing a test. What we'll do is we'll spend our 2 hours together. Everybody is going to pick one or more projects and talk about how that changed their perspective on three-dimensional art, or expanded their abilities, or challenged them. You're just going to talk about your personal reflection on that. The last two things I want to say before we separate are, first, go through and double check all your assignment list. Go through each of the modules and make sure that you've got all those things turned in. I don't know why, but Canvas has been dropping the due dates that I put on things. So just pretend that everything is due. And I'm going to go through and any assignments that aren't turned in, that haven't been turned in, that are due before Sunday, I'm going to put, or last Sunday, I'm going to put zeros on, not because that's what you get, but because I want you to be aware that that assignment wasn't turned in. And, again, everything is finally due on the last day of finals. If you have a problem putting it up in Canvas, you email it to me and I will take care of it. The other thing is, if you need to do, double check, and if you didn't need to do critique or to send in your presentation would be your service learning presentation or your PowerPoint presentation. Put that into a movie file, send that to me, and I will put it up on YouTube. And as part of that, also, I would like you to check. I'm going to send out an email to remind everybody, but go and look at the people, our classmates, and view all of the videos, because everybody needs to get 10 views on the PowerPoint presentations, as well as check out the service learning people when they talk about their things. And as a reminder, PowerPoints should be between 5 and 8 minutes. If it's shorter than 5 or longer than 8, you will get docked points, just a few, but you won't be able to get full points unless you're able to edit it to that time frame between 5 and 8 minutes. And if you did service learning, your informal presentation shouldn't be more than about 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes at the most. And your critiques, generally, most critiques are going to be taking about 2 to 3 minutes. All right. And again, you email those to me directly, and I will be the one to put them on YouTube. Any last questions? Who still has critiques to do?
I do.
I need to do somebody else's art.
Okay. I don't think we have the time to do that right now. Do both of you guys have the capacity to record what you need to do and send me the file? And you can just do it while you're talking on the phone. You can record it with your phone or record it on your computer or whatever. Do both of you have the capacity to do that?
I think so, yeah.
I could probably jerry-rig it.
All right. All right. If you could do that and send that to me, that'd be great. I like that too because it'll show other people what a critique looks like. How many people have? Most everybody has their PowerPoint still to present, right?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and do the same thing. Look at the videos that are already on on our YouTube channel, so you can see what people have done. And I don't know. I think everybody so far who's been doing that, them and turning them in, they've all looked really good. They've turned out really well. What I particularly like is when people talk about the person's history, the artist's history. They're not just relaying the Wikipedia facts. What they're saying is, so-and-so grew up on a farm and this informed future work this way. Or they went to this school and that's important because they learned that so that they could apply it for their sculptures in this way. And so everybody has been doing a really good job on that. There are tutorials that you can find that will help doing the video files. One thing that I have found is that the PPTX extension is not one of the ones allowable for YouTube. So if you can do a WAV or an MOV or any of those kinds of things, those are the ones that YouTube accepts. And if you have any questions, email me and I will send you more information. Any last questions?
When are we meeting in class together last?
Okay, for the Tuesday people, we are meeting on Tuesday. This will be our last Tuesday. Wednesday is the last day of classes on campus at UVU, so the Thursday people will not be meeting Thursday. If you guys want to show up and go to the classroom anyway, you can, but I will not be there. And there's a good chance the building may be locked. But for the Tuesday people, our last class is on Tuesday. Can anybody tell me the date of our final?
May the 4th.
Excellent. Can anybody tell me the time?
7 a.m. to 8:50.
Excellent. Very good. Both of you guys get gold stars stapled to your foreheads. Uh, if there's no more questions, I'm going to end just a couple minutes early. I look forward to seeing what everybody produces. Again, everybody go to the YouTube channel and please double check. Oh, wait, let's see. No, Brooke just asked me, is May 4th the last day to turn in work? No, it's May 6th. May 6th is the last day to put everything in because it's the last day of finals. And once again, if you have issues with Canvas, if Canvas stops working and doesn't allow you to turn that in, email it to me. All right, and just email me directly. Let's see. We are not having a written final. It will not be a test over any of the things that we have quizzes about. The final is basically going to be everybody talking about the projects that they worked on. And that's what we're going to be doing. People are in chat are sending me questions, and that's what I'm responding to, in case anybody is wondering. Okay, and Kayla said it sounds like it was a fun project, and it sounds like to me that it was a good project to have done, and it was could be a really bonding experience with your aunt. And it served a really cool need. That is not something that typically people think of when they think of service projects. So excellent, very well done. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If there's no more questions, we are going to be ending in like 3 seconds.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank
we'll see
you.
you guys later, and I look forward to looking at or watching the videos that you produce for me.
Oh, we don't need to works cited on, do we? Is it like optional? You could throw it in there.
Everybody's been doing a works cited as the last slide, and I think that ends up looking really good.
Gotcha.
If you want to, that's great, and I think it puts the icing on the cake, basically.
Good way to put it.
All right. Hey, we'll see you guys.